Now it's time for Glow with Marquette Shepherd, a show where talk enlightens and inspires you to glow through life, instead of going through the life, just to get by. Hosted by Emmy award-winning TV host and best-selling author, Marquette Shepherd. Listen now for insightful conversations featuring celebrities and thought leaders. Call in to share your story live on air. Are you ready for a glow up? Your journey towards enlightenment starts right now.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Glow with Marquette Shepherd, the podcast companion to Glowstream TV. You can support this podcast by finding us on social media at Glowstream TV. Follow, like, and share this feel-good content brought to you by me, Marquette Shepherd, Brandon Richardson, our beauty and matcha expert, and Norma Ramirez, marketing assistant and author of the recovery blog on Glowstream TV. I'm so excited to have you both here. We have a great guest planned. She is a certified Deepak Chopra meditation expert. She's going to talk to you about how to deal with no and rejection. But before we go deep, let's talk about being skin deep, right? And that goes to Brandon. You have a weekly Makeup Monday blog on glowstreamtv.com, and you're going to talk to people about how to preserve their luscious, dewy summer skin as we get into these cold weather months.
Listen, Marquette. So first of all, hey y'all, good morning. Y'all got your tea ready for this good old beauty report?
Yes.
Right, so Marquette, you said something, you hit the nail on the head. You're like, how do we preserve our summer luscious skin for fall? And I don't think it's necessarily about preserving summer luscious skin, but how do we just maintain healthy, glowy skin for fall? Because as we know, right, we transition summer into winter and our skin changes. We typically go a few shades lighter. We typically go from, depending on where you live, our skin can be a little bit more drier. So it's all about adding different things to your routine and switching some things up. So my question to you, Marquette, is do you change your routine for the fall season, fall/winter?
Yes, I do. Actually, I use lighter products in the summer because there's so much humidity that I feel like I don't need to moisturize as much. And then in the winter, I tend to use the heavy oils. Things get a little thicker, especially like under eye creams. So I do change it up, but I've really learned by trial and error.
So I agree with you. I live in Miami. You live in the DMV area where it's a little bit drier. Y'all have a real proper winter. I have a light spring during our winter where the humidity drops and it becomes a little bit cooler. And so this Makeup Monday, I'm all talking about what you can do to either add to your existing routine, because oftentimes, like for me, living here in Miami, it doesn't get so super cold. So I don't do a complete overhaul of my routine. I may add in additional steps, like to your point, maybe an oil. I may switch up my moisturizer to make it feel a little bit more cushiony. So at night, I feel like I'm wrapping myself up in a good old blanket of moisture. So it's all about adding things to and switching things out. So when you're thinking about getting ready for fall, my first step is, identify your skin type. If you already know that you're oily or combo year round and that you may veer a little bit more one way versus the other, think about what in your existing routine you might be able to swap out. And then if you love your existing routine, because the good old phrase is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You might be able to say, okay, what can I add to that's going to just give me that additional comfort? Maybe it's a hydrating mist. I love a good mist opportunity, Marquette.
I remember you famously misted me on a TV set, and I was like, oh my God. I know you love a good mist, but if it's not broke, don't fix it. But, a girl of a certain age, when she's lived a full 3 decades plus of life, it breaks down right here and right here. So what do you have for the lines? Like when you laugh or when you cry, it's like your life is showing on your face.
Botox. No, I'm just kidding.
Really?
Oftentimes when we're going through, smile lines, expression lines and smile lines, it gives us character, one. But to just soften it up, what I love to ensure that I'm doing is I do utilize a couple of different things. One, I love a good anti-aging something. So finding your best, anti-aging, line softening type of eye cream that works within your financial price point, right? And you can utilize that. And then at night, hydrate it up. Like, I love using thicker creams, heavier eye creams at night, because as you're resting, your skin is working, your skin is rejuvenating itself, your skin is resting, your skin is taking all that moisture in. And during the daytime, all you have to do, is switch into something lighter. Or, like I said, we're transitioning into fall and winter. You can add in that same heaviness, that same moisture, because oftentimes we see the accentuation of those lines when we're a little bit dehydrated, whether internally or our skin is, because of external factors like the weather.
Yes, I love that. Drink water. That is
Drink water.
nature's number one beauty secret, right?
Absolutely. And hydrate. So giving your skin the hydration through its moisturizer, through those serums. Yes, see? Those
There's some
oils.
lemon in my water too. I love it.
Exactly. And if you find that you have trouble drinking water, add those good natural additives. Lemon. I'm a lime guy personally. So, I like to cut up a whole lime and put it in my water, and I sip on it throughout the day, and I refresh it as well. So, if you can't consume the regular amount of water that we should be doing, at least consume some and really look at products that are going to add that water and that hydration back into your skin.
I love it because Brandon, for our listeners on iTunes, I held up my water bottle as Brandon was talking about hydrating. And what I love about your beauty reports, and he's misting right now, you have to go to Facebook, Glowstream TV, to see all of the facial expressions going on here. But what I love about your beauty reports is you're not necessarily trying to sell us some products. You have product recommendations. They're all great, the ones that I've tried. But you also just give good general advice that anyone can take, like drink more water, like mist yourself.
Absolutely.
You can mist yourself with a primer after you put on your layers of what you put on, or with water. And water is the cheapest beauty ingredient in the world.
Absolutely. And I believe in understanding your price point. They say Rome wasn't built in a day. Listen, all of this be rich beauty magic wasn't built in a day. Like, it takes time, it takes investment, it takes understanding. So if you're new to it, start small, think about what you're willing to pay. Also be realistic. Like, don't think that you want red carpet skin on a $5 budget, because some things you're going to have to invest in based off of your desired results. But think about what you want to spend for that optimum cleanser. Think about what you want to spend for that serum, because that serum helps to lock things in. Think about what you want to spend for maybe a hydrating mist, your moisturizer, et cetera, et cetera. And once you understand that, then you're able to make more informed decisions. And that's what I'm here for. And that's why, check out this Monday's video. I'm giving you some great recommendations. Check out my previous skincare series as well. If you have trouble not even knowing what your skin type is, I have a whole skincare playlist on the YouTube channel, and you can really take some time learning so you know how to invest in your skin.
Wonderful. So we can find you every Monday on the homepage of glowstreamtv.com. But where do we find you on YouTube, Instagram, the Twitters, the Facey Spaces, the Meta?
Yes. So, oh my God.
The Metaverse.
I can't. But did you hear, though, that there's another company that has that name, Meta? So Facebook now has to possibly rename itself again.
Well, I also think Meta World Peace should go after them.
Wasn't there a basketball star that called
Meta World Peace? Yes. Yes.
I'm so glad I knew that. You should be so proud of me.
I'm proud of you. Yeah, I am.
So you can find me on the Twitter at berich_beauty. I am on Instagram at berich_beauty. TikTok, berich_beauty. And obviously on YouTube is where I live full time at berich_beauty. There's no underscore, just berich_beauty.
I love it. Thank you so much, Brandon. Will you stick around? Because as I mentioned at the top of the show, we have a Deepak Chopra certified meditation expert. We talked about how you can look good on the outside, but all of that really is not important if the inside isn't beautiful and clean and light and airy.
Listen, I need to know how to meditate because every time I try to meditate, I wake up an hour and a half later from a nap. So I need to figure this out. So
Okay, so when you try to meditate, you fall asleep. And then stick around, audience, because we're also, after we speak to our meditation expert, Erica Wigley, we're also going to speak to our recovery blog author, Norma Ramirez. She's part of the Glowstream TV family. She writes an awesome blog about how to recover when life knocks you down. But I want to introduce Erica Wigley. Come on camera. If you're watching on Facebook, Erica Wigley is an amazing registered nurse, life coach. And I'm just finding out, Erica, welcome. You are a certified Deepak Chopra meditation expert. Tell me more.
Yes, I started this journey of meditation over a decade ago. Can you believe it? My story started in wanting to understand the meaning of life. Why am I here? What's my purpose? And what am I called to do? I remember seeing the movie The Secret, and each of the thought leaders mentioned something regarding mindfulness and meditation. And I thought, well, what is this thing called meditation? So I decided to try it in quotation marks. And I eventually just thought, you know what, this isn't working. I kept trying and trying and trying, not realizing that in trying, I was taking myself out of the moment of being present. So luckily, I didn't give up. I continued to be obedient to this call of understanding what meditation is. And that led me eventually to taking a class and training at the Chopra Center. And I'm now a Chopra Center instructor.
I love it. So many people, I think they get to a certain point in their life, Erica, where they are wondering, myself included, what is my purpose here on life? And life has a way of, no matter how well-meaning or good you try to be, you are going to be presented with challenges. And I almost feel like life is like that old school Super Mario Brothers game where you're just walking down the street and then there's like something you got to jump over. And then you jump over it, you're successful, and then like a fireball comes your way. And then you manage to, triumph over that. And then there's somebody who you've just got to slay. You know what I mean? And you're just literally trying to move forward. So in all of your training and teaching, let's talk about this concept of challenges and rejections, and how should people deal with a no or a wall in their way that's not letting them go forward?
That's a big one. Oftentimes we look at a no in terms of, as you said, being rejected, a wall, and feeling mistreated in a way. I'd like everyone to think of someone's no as your yes, because each no moves that situation out of the way, that experience out of the way, that person out of the way, so that you can be more aligned with where you're supposed to be, right? Thank them instead of being upset with them. Thank you internally when someone says no. I've had many experiences in my life where I wanted a situation, a job, an experience, whatever it is, and I didn't always get what I wanted. But my immaturity left me feeling sad and rejected. Over time, I learned to embrace someone's no as my own internal yes. Thank you for moving that out the way. Perhaps I'm not ready to receive it yet. Or perhaps there's some other thing that I'm supposed to do, something that I'm supposed to learn. Or perhaps that's not what I need, right? So internally now I say, yes, thank you. Thank you for making space and room for me to be exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Okay, I am intrigued by this concept, but I want to be clear for listeners out there who have heard throughout their whole lives, no means no. So we're not talking about situations where someone is crossing a boundary with you. No does mean no in that situation. You're talking about when you're going after something like a dream job, or you're going after a goal in life, and somehow you are rejected from that goal. You're saying maybe that's not the path for you achieving your goal.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Thank you for that explanation. Yes, when you are faced in a situation that you start to question your own worth when someone says no, that's when you have this internal rumbling and almost feeling dismissed and misunderstood or unwanted, that you start to question yourself. And in that state of being, what I ask is that instead of questioning why not, start to say, thank you for what is.
Be grateful for what you have in this moment, which is maybe, they always say God's, someone's rejection is God's protection.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And you start to look at life in that way. Life is a game, right? Life is a game, and we have to learn how to play it, right? So when you think about sports, you're not going to win every game. In fact, look at Michael Jordan. He lost so many times before he actually became the great Michael Jordan. Now, if he sat down and said, you know what, I'm just not good at this, forget about it, we would not have known the man that we know today. So take each rejection as a badge of honor. Thank you for that.
Oh, I know that's tough for some people to understand, Erica. Thank you for rejecting me.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And there's no hard feelings, right? There's no hard feelings, because perhaps their no wasn't meant intentionally to harm you. Perhaps they just didn't need you at the time or want you in that moment. And that's perfectly okay. It's our mindset shift. And that's why meditation is so powerful, because what meditation does, and for anyone that has any questions around meditation, because oftentimes people think of meditation as woo-woo, this is crazy.
Right.
You have yogi in order to do it. And I ask that you rethink, based on what I say, what meditation is. If you could think of meditation as an internal shower,
a cleanse
of your mind, a cleanse of your subconscious programming. Because in life, when you look at our life, we are literally replaying what we believe about ourselves, not what we say about ourselves, but what we internally believe about ourselves. So if you look at meditation as a part of your self-care, just as you would wake up in the morning and brush your teeth and wash your face and do your hair and get dressed and get ready for work, or whatever it is that you do on a daily basis, that's your routine, allow meditation to be a part of that same self-care. But this time, it's not anything to do with the external look of who you are. It's the internal belief of who you are. Now, meditation essentially allows you to return to your essential self. So you are not bounded by life situations. You're not bounded by what someone says about you, what your family thinks about you, what your manager did to you, what your friendship did to your heart, relationship did to your life, etc. You're not bounded by those experiences anymore. You're not tied to them, right? Now you're standing on top of them. Now I'm in control of me. This life and this situation, I'm going to play it. I'm going to ride until the wheels fall off, right? So that is the mentality to have. But in order to even get there, you need to clear out all of that junk that you've collected over the years. It's time to take out the trash, Marquette.
Oh, yes.
Take out the internal trash. Absolutely.
It can stink up your spiritual house.
So
you are, like I said before, Deepak Chopra certified meditation expert. What are some tips for people who feel like, well, they did this to me. He said that to me and it knocked me off my game. Michael Jordan didn't become Michael Jordan. LeBron hasn't become LeBron. Hey, Megan Thee Stallion, she didn't get her hottie sauce, right? She didn't get her college degree by letting somebody knock her off her game. So for all of us players out there who are on the bench right now, we want to get out there and play our A game. What are some tips to get started on this high level meditation cleanse of the mind and spirit?
Well, number one is to understand that you are a victor and not a victim. Because when you accept that you are a victim, now you are playing their game.
So a victim says what? Give an example of what a victim may say to themselves internally.
A victim says, they did this to me, and because they did this to me, now I can't do this, whatever this is, right? I can't move forward. You've created my unhappiness. You have created my breakdown. Any victim story that you're tied to doesn't allow you to stand in your power and understand that power is internally there. You don't have to call power up on the phone and say, hey, power, knock at my door like it's a food delivery, right? No, you are born with it. There is nothing that you have to do to get it. So when I talk about meditation in this internal shower, it's removing all of who you're not so that you can remember who you are. Now you're standing in the ready position of your internal power, and that internal power expresses itself in everything you say, think, and do.
Okay, and so what does a victor versus a victim, what does a victor say, think, and do, and how do they have an internal dialogue with himself or herself?
The next best thing is coming. That's the mentality. The next best thing is coming. Thank you. I might be sad and unhappy. Remember, we're human. We're going to feel the emotion. So I do want to put in that statement that we will feel the emotion. We'll be unhappy if we lost that position, that relationship didn't work out. It's okay to be caught in our feelings for a moment. The key is not to stay there, right? That is the victor story, that you don't stay in that emotion. Now you're able to wield that emotion, transform that emotion, and create fuel. Like it becomes the fuel, the fire under you to go after what it is that you truly want and desire.
That is so good. Oh my goodness. So the next best thing is coming. Yep. I stumbled. Yes. I looked backwards and then I bumped into that wall, but it's going to get better. So really having a positive outlook and a positive attitude is the journey of the victor.
It's a positive attitude, but it's mainly around a belief in self. It's a belief in self, a belief in knowing that you are made for this moment, that your life has purpose, right? And it goes beyond just being positive. It's an understanding of who you are, that your life matters, that your desires are worthy of taking flight, that anything that doesn't serve you is naturally going to ease themselves out of your life because you're aligned with where you're supposed to be.
I like this. And I want to bring the Glowstream TV family in to see if they have any questions. Brandon Richardson is our beauty and matcha expert. It's a form of tea, and he always spills the tea. Norma Ramirez, as I mentioned, does marketing for Glow, and then she also writes an amazing recovery blog every Tuesday on glowstreamtv.com. Brandon, I know that you and I have talked about wanting to always get closer to God and closer to our maker in our respective fields. And why people may think, oh, beauty is a superficial field. I don't think so. I value what you do because I know when I look good, I feel good. I feel more powerful. Like, I love playing in how can I look the best I can possibly look with the body and the face that I've been given. Do you have any questions for Erica about meditation and becoming more aligned with your purpose in this life, which some people can misunderstand as superficial when it comes to beauty and fashion?
Absolutely, right? And I also joked earlier, like I tried meditating and I woke up 2 hours later. And even though it was a joke, it was still my reality. I tried to do this meditation challenge with some friends, and every time I would meditate, I would literally fall asleep. So how, for someone that's new to meditating, because you said something along the lines of, it's mentally cleansing you by meditation. And, our lives are so fast paced. So I think I have a multi-tier question here, right? How do you carve out time to ensure that you're giving yourself the meditation moments? Because again, you wake up in the morning, you have your routine already, something happens, it can throw you off, and now you miss the meditation moment, So how do you ensure that you have time to meditate? And how do you break through that meditation? Because now I'm now looking at this as like working out, like building a muscle. How do you build this muscle so that way you can actually meditate to reap the rewards and not fall asleep?
Great question. I went through it too. So let me just tell you.
It's just not me.
I actually, that happened to me as well. I would do it late at night and right before going to bed and meditate. So the question is this. Well, not so much the question. The statement is this. Doing it right before you go to bed is not ideal because we associate our bed with sleep.
Yeah.
So having a seat, someplace that is outside of the bedroom that you can sit down and meditate, that's comfortable. Also, making sure that you meditate on an empty stomach. Not to meditate right after eating, because the body itself is working to break down the food. So therefore, it's excited in a sense. The body has more energy. It's breaking down the food. It's not in a state of relaxation. So ensuring that you're meditating not before you go to bed, ideally in the evening, sometime in the evening right before dinner, or a few hours after dinner when the body has done has the most activity in breaking down the food. That will be helpful. Also setting the mood, closing the door, eliminating distractions, putting your phone in vibrate or silent mode. Things that allow you to not be as distracted, and perhaps light a candle. Have some incense if that, you don't have to have incense, because if that's distracting for you, don't do it. But create an environment that's inviting. And those things can help assist you in meditating.
Can I ask one more follow-up question? Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Do you recommend like meditating in the morning? And so for me, I'm thinking, okay, now I can't do it at night because I did that too and I fell asleep. First thing in the morning, I'm still trying to wake up. And if I go right into meditating, I go back to sleep. So do you find that like right before you start your day, maybe do that before you eat breakfast or have that first meal? What do you think there?
So typically we recommend that you meditate twice a day. So once in the morning and once in the evening. But for starting out, you can do it once a day and then lead up to twice a day. The time to meditate, or the ideal time to meditate, is right as the sun is rising and right as the sun is setting. Okay? So that is the ideal time to meditate, if you can remember that.
I really like that. It kind of ties us back into nature and the world around us, and to kind of be cognizant of what's going on, because with so much technology, which I'm thankful for, because that's how I'm reaching you, Erica, and Brandon, and Norma in 4 different places, and all of the listeners and viewers on Facebook. Technology is great, but I find when you connect with what's going on in nature naturally, I feel so much more at peace. Norma, do you meditate? And I know we started this discussion with, how to deal with no and rejection. And I know that's part of your writing and your guidance on glowstreamtv.com as well.
I do not meditate. I wish I could. When I was in treatment, my counselor suggested that I do it. But so I do have a question for Erica. Like, I have severe ADHD, so I cannot shut it down right here. So I would try to meditate and pray and all the things that they would tell me to do. And I was there and doing all the things, but then in my mind, I'm like, I'm hungry. What do I want to eat? I wonder, just like, how do you turn this off to actually be able to meditate?
Perfect. And let me tell you, thank you for that question. I went through that too. So I check the boxes on both of you right now. And for many times of having that experience, I decided, you know what, this is not for me. But luckily I kept doing it on and off, on and off, on and off until I did it regularly. Now, What I learned while being trained at the Chopra Center is that when you're meditating, it doesn't shut your thoughts off. In fact, it creates room for those thoughts to release themselves. So having thought is a good thing. It means that your body is relaxing itself enough to release those thoughts. Now, the more that you meditate, eventually the sound, the thoughts are not as loud. It's like a radio dial that you're turning down to maybe 4. But in the beginning, it appears as though those thoughts are on 10, right? And they seem so distracting that you just want to quit it. Like, this is not working. So I encourage you to keep going. Know that having thoughts is a good thing. It means that your body is settling down. It means that it's relaxing itself enough to release what's there, and just continue meditating. My suggestion is that you repeat a mantra. A mantra is just a mind vehicle. So as you're silently repeating that mantra while you're meditating, eventually you'll return or enter this state, this zone of relaxation, and eventually fully release yourself into the meditation. Is that helpful?
Yes, ma'am. I do have another question. So somebody had told me that these exercises they do to make themselves feel more grounded, which involved going outside, taking your shoes off, letting your feet feel the ground. And then like looking around and seeing what you see and identifying things that you hear. How important is it for us to be grounded?
Being grounded is necessary. You know, before all of this technology, when you think of our ancestors, they didn't have all of this distraction that we have today. And in fact, my mom would tell stories of her being in the islands and walking barefooted on the ground. Now, there's great power in doing that. In fact, they even have bed sheets that you can buy on Amazon. That's electromagnetic bed sheets that you can connect to your wall socket, and it draws in the energy from the ground into the bed sheet. And as you're laying down, it's said to release anxiety, release even depression, sadness, and a slew of medical ailments that are tied to the benefits of using this bed sheet. But grounding yourself and walking barefooted is always a good thing. Now, you don't need the bed sheet to do that. You can just take your socks off and walk on the ground. Now, looking in nature is a mindful practice. So seeing the birds, seeing water, listening to the sound of the leaves, the bristling of the leaves with the wind, are all ways to return to the state of being present. That's really the purpose of it. Now, what is this thing called being present in mindfulness? Essentially, it means that you're releasing yesterday. Yesterday already happened. Tomorrow hasn't happened yet. And you're harnessing all of your attention and intention on this moment. Because essentially, that's all we have. That's all we have. In fact, the time that you and I met a few moments ago, that time has already passed. So harnessing all of our attention right here, not just on what I just said, right here, is a practice. And as you continue to practice that, you'll begin to live from the state of being. And that state of being is your essential self. Now you're not tied to other things that are keeping you distracted and pulled and attached. Things that you can't control. All you can control is yourself right here and right now.
Does that help you guys? It helps me because it reminds me, Brandon is snapping his fingers and putting in the chat, you better preach. Because one of the best teachers that I've listened to said that manifesting, right? That's a buzzword nowadays. How do I manifest my greatness? How do I manifest $1 million or $1,000 or whatever you need? And this teacher said, Manifesting is about making a decision from one moment to the next about what is going to get you closer to your goal. And if it's a weight loss goal, then the decision is to put the pastry down and take a walk every day. So manifesting is a conscious choice, and each choice is building a brick, right, towards a path that you want to get to. Would you agree with that, Erica?
Manifesting comes from a state of being that you are already it.
Okay.
So I don't have to try to be it. While it may not look like I have it right now, I am already it. I'm already sober. I'm already financially sound. I'm already healthy. It's claiming, and not just claiming, but knowing that you're it, which is different from coming from a state of being of having to try to get it. Now you're out of alignment with it. Now you're working way too hard to try to be it because you don't remember and don't realize that you're already it. So again, going back to meditation, it's a mental shower. It's realigning your thought process to who you essentially are, the way you were when you came and entered this world before separation occurred, right? And separation meaning that now, with our eyes open to this world, we are living our life outside of who we are. We're living our life for our family. We're living our life to keep up with the Joneses. We're living our life because in the magazines, everyone looks like they're in Ibiza and healthy or thin rather, and having a glass of whatever. And life is whatever it's supposed to look like on social media, right? So now we're trying to attain all of these other things that take us outside of the truth of who we are. We're trying to attain these things, trying to climb the ladder. Ain't no ladder. How about that?
There's really no ladder. That is just a mental.
Yeah.
I love it.
Ladder in this world. Absolutely,
There
Mark.
is no ladder. You're born with everything you need, which is your inner knowledge, your power, and the packaging, which is your body.
Yes. And from that state of being, you can do and be anything. Your power. You're harnessing your gift. You're harnessing who you are. Now you are in your ready position.
And on that note, we are running out of time. We have 2 minutes left in the show. Erica, thank you so much for that spiritual centering. Tell us where we can find you online to follow up and maybe contact you and just learn more about you and all of the great things you do in the world of meditation and life coaching.
Yes, thank you. Everyone can find me on Instagram at Rise360 Coaching.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brandon and Norma, for joining today's podcast. You can find out more about me and all of the Glowstream TV family at glowstreamtv.com. And this is just a reminder to not just go through life, but to glow through life. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, or responses to this show, please comment on Facebook or Instagram. We are at Glowstream TV. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening.